Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. It is your favorite dark sorcerer, and tonight I'd like to come to the table with something new. Something, well, let's just say it's a journey that I'm going to be undertaking soon. If not planning right about either tonight or tomorrow, or maybe within the next day or so. I don't know. But I have been contemplating on this for a while. In fact, many, many years of curiosity, things that have held my attention, to which I've only received lies about, or I should say deceit. Maybe not even that. On one hand, you have deceit, but on the other hand, you have the lack of information, the willingness, or thereof, not to disclose things. As we know, most of the world today is run by the JCI, the Judo-Christian institutions. Now, if you're like me, and you're into the magic, either the dark magics or magic in general, you're seeking out the truth. You're seeking out the mythology, the history behind each entity, behind the very traditions that you hold so dear. Well, or maybe you're just simply looking at it from an ancestral lineage, okay? Think about it like this. Have you ever wondered something or gone to somebody asking or inquiring about something? And you may have asked the same question to the same individual, say, 100 times. And you've gotten 100 different answers in a reply. Well, what if I told you that spirits can aid you in these type of questions? One of the things that I've come to understand over the years is that when you're dealing with the mundane, when you're dealing with people in general, they're not going to tell you the truth. They're not going to sit there and reveal truth. Let's say, for an example, you want to know who your father is. So you go to your mother and you ask 100 different times over, say, a decade, maybe 2 decades, and say, hey, who's my dad? And she'll give you 20, 100 different answers, depending on how many times in a run of a year that you ask, that you inquire. Oh, it's a drug dealer out of, say, I don't know, Levant, or a firefighter out of Boston, or a soldier out of Georgia, whatever. Okay, you're gonna get 100 different answers. So, a few years back, I was temporarily associated with a Satanist out of England, or at least that's where he claimed to have been. But then again, he also claimed to be out of Miami. So, like I said, people lie. They cheat, they deceive, and therefore you really can't trust people. You trust facts, you trust the spirits, because most spirits will not lie to you. And it comes down to the traditions that you're following. If you're going with spirits that are known tricksters, like, say, Mephistopheles or Loki, of course you're going to want to be very, very specific with your question, the way you word it. That way they can't, how should I say this, manipulate you in some way or bend the truth. But if you're dealing with other sources, like, say, spirits like the Devi or the Loa, or even demons in general, demons are known to be guardians, protectors. The Loa are known to be part saints, part soldiers, part spirits in general. And it's very interesting to see how these spirits can manifest the answers to your questions. Now, you remember what I said at the beginning of this video about inquiring about things and how going to these spirits can help you in clarification on the questions and the topics that you as the individual are seeking. Well, this is why. I spent most of my life wondering who my father is. Well, guess what? I found that out about a decade ago. Almost, just about a decade now. Ironically, I have nothing in common with my human family. Not my mother's side, not my father's side. Not one thing do we have in common. Ironic, right? All that time seeking and wasting energy, and you don't have one damn thing in in common with them. It's kind of funny if you think about it. And so the funny thing is that I also wanted to know, well, if I have nothing in common with these two sides of my family, what is it about spiritualism? What is it about black magic, destruction, and other forms of mysticism attracts me so much? What is it about it? So, like I said, this Satanist that I told you about, he mentioned a ritual that you can do. Well, I did mine on the super black moon back in 2017. And ironically, when I opened up I called the corners, I lit the black candle, the red candle, the white candles, and I had the red candle right in the center, and I opened up the floor to the spirits, to these demons, the angelics, and I put the petition for that I wanted to meet my creator. Who is my creator? Okay. And I found out that Abaddon was my creator, which was very, very surprising. So since then, I've gone by the son of Abaddon. And my mystical name was actually given to me by him. And it's spelled Angelus. Okay. Angelus. Okay. Not to be mistaken for Hollywood produced fiction. Okay. And yes, I am aware that there's somebody out there posting shit about me. I don't really care. Okay. But the point of this is to show you that spirits will answer you. They will guide you to where you need to be. So lately, I've been wondering a lot of things. My mother's side is heavily influenced by the JCI. My father's side is influenced by two different aspects, or three different aspects, I should say. On one half, you have that of the Golden Dawn. The not the Golden Dawn, but the Masonic, I should say. Then you have the Native Indian traditions, and then you have, obviously, the JCI on top of that. So where is it that my interest and my attraction to the occult, the arcana, the hidden things of gnosis and occultism come from? So while in meditation a few nights ago, I got this urge to start looking into my past. And I remembered about 2 years ago when I found out that I was going to be a dad, I petitioned my father's wife. Well, actually, my father. I asked him, I said, how many lineages do you know of? Because at the time I was looking at the census and the Native American laws, basically. What type of percentages do you need to be on the census or to be classified by your tribe? Okay. And we had, due to his, he was not, how should I say this? He was not very open about our family, the father's side. Okay. But yet his wife was, and she ended up giving me about 4 to 5 generations going back to the early 19th century. Okay, the late 18th, early 19th century, and we ended up find. I ended up going down to the local library and to the heritage section, and after about a week and a half to 2 weeks, I found out that there was actually a sixth one that they found. So now I have six, okay, generations before myself, okay, and my son. So not only do I have a small family lineage for my son to have when he gets older and when he inquires, which we all do at some time in our lives, wonder about our heritage, our history, our family line. Now, for me, obviously, black magic, sorcery, necromancy, Satanism, demonolatry, all of this stuff applies to my life. It is something that has heavily influenced my life. It is something I've been attracted to since I was a child. So the question remains, where does this attraction come from? Why am I so bonded to the magic? Why am I so attracted to it? So I started thinking about this, and one thing is made apparent. The best route to learn about your ancestry or whatever questions that you as the individual have in your life currently, or even over the last, say, 6 years, a decade, maybe your entire life, depending on your age, okay, and where you come from, your background, you know, your religious perceptions, your influences from a religious, perspective to that of, say, your personality, your career choices, just about everything you can think of can play right into this one topic. Why? 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 So I started looking at all my books. I started digging through my library, my personal private library, and I remembered that there's a couple of practices that is known as a family lineage. There's the hereditary family line of mysticism, those who have dedicated themselves throughout any given system to magic. It doesn't matter if it's Brujeria or Voodoo or even witchcraft, Satanism, from a coven perspective. There's a lot of them out there, but there's only one religious foundation that is based off spiritualism. It is based off ancestral lineage, and that is Voodoo. So, after much contemplation, after much consideration and research, I have decided to look into the Loa even further and getting to know them, drawing their seals, their sigils, and petitioning them in their traditions. Okay. Now, for those of you who are new to Voodoo, there are many traditions of Voodoo, from those of New York, LA, New Orleans, um, Haitian Voodoo, to African Voodoo. Okay. And there's probably a few more out there that I haven't even named off. Okay. Because Voodoo is one of those traditions that is highly adaptable. And it is one of those that is, well, let's just say built to last. That's my own terminology on that one, by the way. So I started thinking about the Loa. Now, the first thing you got to remember is that if you're going to go with the Loa, okay, be it the LAE or the, was it the LAO or the, what is it, LOA, there we go, or the LWA, okay? Sorry, it's been a long day. Had a hell of a time at work today. We were all very, very tired by the time the shift ended. But yeah, the Loa from the New Orleans variation of it, which is LOA, or the African or Haitian Voodoo traditions, which is LWA. Okay. The one that you really want to start out with is Papa Legba. Papa Legba, because Papa Legba is very well known due to the fact that he is the gatekeeper, and you have to go through him to get to all the other Loa. He is the gatekeeper. He is the go-to Loa when you are trying to go to other systems or to other um, spirits. Okay. Now, I've talked to Bokors and I've talked to Hongans and Mambas, and or Mambos, I should say, and I've talked to Poleros. That I've been associated with and familiar with for a while, and I've asked questions, and I've gotten a lot of feedback back about how they can be intermingled or go from one to the other and vice versa. Which ones can teach and which ones cannot. So one of the things that they have in common is that Papa Legba is the spirit to go to get to any other spirit. So I've been contemplating on how to go about doing this. Not only that, but when you take an oath and you take and you make a pact with the spirit, you really want to give an offering and a sacrifice. Okay. Most importantly, you have to have an intent. What is the outcome that you're seeking to justify here? Okay. So if you make a pact and you open the portals, you open the gates, and Papa Legba acknowledges it. Okay. And you say, well, I'd like to go through you to get to say for example, Dambella, or that of say Baron Samedi. Okay. These two are the Loa of the dead. Okay. They are the gods of the dead in this case. And then you have the Hoodooism perspective, which is Papa Nebo. Now, from what I understand about this, is Papa Nebo is more of the king of the dead, kind of like oh, how should I say this? Kind of like Hades, if you wish. The ruler of the dead, or Hel in Norse mythology, who's the ruler of the dead. But yet, in Viking lore, there's actually one spirit who is literally the king of the dead. So, I mean, you really got to look at the traditions and how you want to go about it. More so, if you do get a reply there's a few things that you want to keep in mind here too. One, you never want to you don't want to keep them waiting. Two, you want to have your petition ready. Three, you have to have your offering ready. And four, be nice because they will whoop your ass. Okay? If you are disrespectful in any way, you may even get whitewalled, so to speak. And the funny thing is that, like I said, I mean, I've been contemplating this for a while, at least on my end, and what I've been thinking about doing. There's a few things that I've already considered doing, and things that I want to do, and I've already put these to questions out there to some individuals. But at the same time, I've been doing my own research into this. Now, I'm thinking about personally with me, because Voodoo is known as the path of the ancestors. I'm thinking this is where I want to start. So, excuse me, freaking allergies. It's allergy season in the fall. Hate that. But my point is this: when you know where you're going to start and you've realized this is where you're being led to, Voodoo is one of the systems that attracted me early on. Not just black magic, not just demonology or Satanism. These all played into a part. Okay? So, I mean, getting back into my roots and where I want to begin, I never really stuck around much in Voodoo because it was something at the time that was not something that interested me. But over the years, Voodoo has always been there in the back of my mind. So now I get a chance to delve back into Voodoo, into the research and the study, and to literally reach out to the Loa, to draw their sigils, to petition them, to give them offerings, to work with them, and to open my sanctuary and my world up to them. So, at least for the ones that are willing to work with me. And like I said, there's a lot of different traditions out there. And a couple of the books that, when I was going through my library, there was a couple books that caught my attention. So, The Complete Book of Voodoo by Robert W. Pelton was one of them. This book I've read a couple of times. It's got a lot of information, a lot of things on oils and herbs and powders, but also how to make things like voodoo dolls and getting to know the Loa, the superstitions, the whole king caboodle. I thought that was really well written. Okay. The first one I've ever gotten was by Sally Ann Glassman, and it was called Voodoo Visions. It was actually recommended to me years ago by a lady and practitioner, a mamba out of Las Vegas. And she said it was one of her first books that she really delved into and got a lot of beneficial outcomes from it. So I went out and I bought it. And I started reading it, but I never got past the third chapter of it. So the fact that this recently stuck out to me tells me that perhaps there's something there that I need to see, something I need to read, something that will benefit me on my current journey. Okay. And most importantly, a book that somebody has been trying to put out for a very long time. And it finally did come out about a year or so ago. And this book was actually written, if I remember correctly, let's see. Yeah, 2012 was the first printing of it. So this was actually printed about almost a decade ago. And I just recently got it as of last year. Now, I have gone through this book quite a bit, and there's a lot of barons and a lot of Lola that I'm not familiar with, like Simbi Dilo or Met Kefu, Legba Petro, okay, you know, Simbi and Dizo, okay, the Gidiloas. There's a lot of them in this book that I've never even heard of. So Haitian Voodoo has always attracted me, even through the mythos, the history, you know, through the creation of it, the reinsertion of it through Haitian Voodoo back in the 16th, 17th century, and to see where it's really developed from there. There's something definitely about this book that has attracted me, so I'm going to be delving into this as well, not just the current system of necromancy and spiritualism in that case. Now, as most of you know, I've been practicing necromancy full time since January, and that I've been researching a lot of different entities and doing my own research and study from a different path working that a lot really don't like. Okay. And I've made a few enemies because I'm associated with this type of working. That doesn't really bother me. Just letting you know, it does not bother me. If you either like me or you don't, that's up to you. Okay. I really don't care what your tradition is or any other affiliations. If you're dedicated to the magic, the sorcery, cool. We all learn from each other, right? So these books, along with the spiritualism books that I've been doing, along with the oleums and everything, one of the big things that I've been thinking about is doing a dedication rite to a Slavic Dark Lord. Okay. And the reason for that is because of his affiliations with the spiritual realms, necromancy, and death. Okay. Black magic in general. He's not just a pact maker like Lucifer Drafacal or Mephistopheles, perhaps even Satan himself, Lord of witches and warlocks, okay, from the Grimwaric systems. But there's a lot of beings that you can actually make a pact with. And lately I've been contemplating on this one as well, because I feel like there's a very strong connection there, not just with my patron and the tower that I work with, but it's more of the fact that something has been pulling me towards my family lineage. Like there's a spirit out there, or maybe a bunch of spirits that really want me to learn about my family lineage. And this has really been on my mind. It's one of the big things that's been nagging on me for the better part of a few weeks now. And so now I am dedicating myself to finding the truth on this and seeing where it leads me. Good or bad, you know, any journey that you get under, you gotta, if you petition the spirits for this knowledge, no matter what comes your way, you have to accept it with open arms. Okay? Because if you don't, the spirits will not be likely to aid you again in that manner. Okay? So, really take that into consideration. And if you do decide to work with spirits and within a form of spiritualism, no matter if it's Pedro Mayambi working with the Ugan, the demons from the Goetia, or any of the other demonic hierarchies, perhaps even the Jinn, okay? Really look at it and open yourself up to them, okay? Work with them. When you petition them, don't be afraid to work, get your hands dirty, roll up your sleeves, and seek out that knowledge, okay? And like I said, always have your petition ready. Always have your offering ready, your sacrifice, and never keep them waiting. Okay. So, with that said, I will keep you up to date on what I'm doing and what I find out. And I would recommend that you do align yourself not only with the current, but also to make a pact with the spirits that you're working with. All right. So with that said, I will be back in the next day or two to be doing to. I got a couple of videos that I do want to put forth that I think will benefit a lot of you. All right. Stay humble. Don't abide by your ego, and seek knowledge, wisdom. Okay. Apotheosis. Learn to grow and evolve. I hope this has been enlightening. I hope it's been intellectual. And I do hope that you look at your system and the type of magic that you're working with and look at the questions that you're asking, the things that you are personally seeking out. And if you do decide to petition a spirit to aid you in finding these answers, make sure, and I'm going to say this again, make sure that your arms are wide open and that you accept whatever they bring to you. Okay? I can't tell you how important this is. I've asked spirits to aid me in the past, and a lot of the times it failed because I was not open to what they were giving me. It's like, wait, I asked for this and you gave me this. Okay. I wasn't asking for this. I wanted this. Okay. But it turns out that when you ask for something, just because you want something doesn't, or you need something, does not mean it's something that's beneficial for you. Okay. So when you look at it, the spirits work in mysterious ways. Okay. I can tell you I've gone 2,995 miles just based off faith alone. People said that my car would not make it. If it did, it would not be coming back with me. Well, guess what? Not once, not twice, but 3 times these vehicles have brought me back when people said it could never happen. Why? Because I trusted in the spirits. Okay? It is important to seek out their guidance through divination, perhaps runes, seals, summonings, evocations, invocations. You know, to find their wisdom, ask for their wisdom in a certain situation. Okay, trust me when I tell you that what they give you, you may not understand up front. It may be something that will hit you like a ton of stones. Like a landslide. Okay, but what I will tell you is that in the long run, it's going to benefit you in the long run, and I'm talking hugely. I went from one side of this country to the other based off faith. The last time I left and came back with this little girl right here. Okay. Now you notice I just did that like a TV, a news anchor. Okay. I didn't even look because I could see where she is in the camera. But ow, watch the claws, Missy. Jeez. Wow. But anyways, she's my familiar. And I petitioned King Belial for a familiar. And I ended up with this one. She was 6 months old and a street kitty. Okay? And trust me when I tell you, it's the best thing that ever happened. She is the most loyal kitty I have ever seen. So keep that in mind. And here we are years later. I have 2 other kitties, a significant other, and a child that's going to be turning 3 in just a couple of weeks. Yeah, she got me good too. Wow. Little blood sorcery won't hurt anybody, especially when it's my own offering. But my point is that, yeah, I'll just put that on the altar in the chalice, the offering bowl. So, so yeah, when you trust in the spirits and you let them lead you, you let them guide you, trust me, it's the best thing. The hardest thing we can do is give up that control. So the hardest thing is to let go of control, let go of ego, let go of your desires and wants. It's not, you may want something, you may desire it, but it may not be good for you. So this is why it's very important to trust in the spirits, to see what they recommend for you. Communing with spirits, I highly recommend it. And Judy Carter and Waldo, what's going on? You're welcome, Judy. Eh, that's always a good thing, Judy. Well, you know what they say, Waldo. It's better late than never. And to be fair, I don't do what a lot of these big time publishers do is they actually give you the heads up that they're doing something on a certain date and time, and then so you're there waiting for them like little lapdogs. Where's the fun in that, right? And she just stuck her head up along with this one opening her eyes. My point is, keep it interesting. At least that's my way, anyways. You got to find out what works for you and just go with it. But yeah, it is better late than never, but it's all right. My videos are always going to be up, and I'm not going to be taking them down. So, yeah, I'm glad you like my videos. My style, yeah, I just speak truth. That's all I do. I back everything up with sources and references, because it's a personal code that was given to me, when I came online back in, what was it, 2013, I think it was, when I started my order. You know, I put out, and I inquired about how to start an order and what to do and how to go about doing it. And the Satanic Brotherhood out of New York was the ones that got back to me. And they said, hey, this is what we recommend. Number one, whatever you preach, always back it up with multiple, always back it up, literally. And I do recommend, if you back it up with multiple sources, you see the truth, you see the facts. Okay. And you always make yourself available to the public because as an ordained minister, let's say, for an example, you're not an ordained minister like myself. Okay. I am a multi-faith minister. I work within different systems. Okay, at least the ones that I've been ordained in, the ones that I work and study and practice with. Okay, so within these systems are the ones that I talk about, and I show you history and mythology and all that stuff, so you don't get blindsided, and you can actually take the sources and delve into them yourself, so you can actually see where my studies and my research has led me, and then you could see where they lead you as individuals. Okay, kind of like following spirits, if you think about it. Waldo, think about it for just a second. I'm guiding you like the spirits are guiding all of us. Okay, that's something you can't deny, and it's something that really is mind blowing. I've heard of people taking on the traits of the gods. Okay, but when you actually look back, and it's like, damn, I've actually started doing this. You know, long before you actually come across that material. And when you do come across that material and you start reading down through it, it's like, damn, I've been doing this for years and I didn't even realize where this came from. Okay? Trust me, it's mind blowing, especially when you're led by the spirit or by multiple spirits. Okay? So when you look at things, Always make yourself available because you answer to the public, not the other way around, especially when you become a public figure. When you do videos like this on social media, you become a target for the haters, for those who are trying to make a name for themselves. Okay? But you're also aiding those and responsible for those that you're teaching. Okay? When I do rituals and I show you how to do things like, say, create a cursing jar or to create a sigil, okay, I'm teaching you as a magi to an apprentice, okay? Kind of like the spirits will teach you as a magician, a sorcerer or sorceress to do things, okay? But even if you're not an ordained minister, it's still sound advice to do. Always back up what you preach and always make yourself available to the public. Don't be ruled by ego or popularity because it's not about popularity. It's not about ego. It's about you and your self evolution, your self growth, and your maturity within the path workings and the root workings that you're into. Exactly, Judy. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, my familiar just walked off. But it's all right. But anyways, with that said, I will keep you up to date on where this root working and this path working is leading me. And I'll also give you references and links that I come across, um, things that you can look up through certain words or certain phrases that will help you follow in the same footsteps if that is something that you're interested in. Now, keep in mind that I will not tell you what to do or what to think. I will simply be putting out that knowledge, and it's up to you as an individual if you like it or not, if you want to research it or not. That is solely up to you. All right? With that said, have a good night, and until next time.